This is a Vanity Calamity. I gotta check something here. YouTube's been really, PlayStation or YouTube, I don't know which one's the problem here. But when I do these live streams, like, it's not uploading them. I did one yesterday and nothing happened. Like, it never uploaded part 77, so I've got to redo. Yeah, you see, like, yeah, okay, it's weird because it's working now, right? I did part 77 yesterday, never uploaded. This just like vanished, like it never happened. I started one just now and it didn't do anything, and so I had to restart it, and now it's working. I don't know what the deal is with like YouTube or PlayStation, but one of them has just been like not doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's really messed up. It's really weird. I had a stream, well, it was originally a part 77 yesterday. It went an hour and 15 minutes in and just did not do anything. All of it went to waste. By the time I ended, I checked YouTube, it just doesn't exist. But good news is, Behavior has decided that they're not going to go through with all the bullshit that they were playing on the PTB. That would have literally killed this game. They want to go back to it at a later date, and that's just not a good idea. Whoever came up with this, like, anti-slug, anti-camp, anti-tunnel stuff that they had on the PTB, they need fired. They don't need to be there. They don't know what they're doing. Their incompetence is astounding. They should never even made it to a PTB stage. Oh, look, we got somebody here. I wonder if they're live. Nah, no, my name. Oh wait, there's a TTB there. Oh, okay, well, they're not live. Yeah, actually, their name doesn't even pop up. This is my first game of the day, but we'll see how it goes. Not the worst map, but not really the greatest either. Yikes, okay. I'll just let her go for now. Yikes, not great. Damn. I might lose that middle gen. Oh shit, really? Damn. That's awful. Broke my 3 gen. Oh. Okay, they're on comms. Someone told them I was on the way. Oh wait, there's 2 bills? I'm just gonna use this pain rest. No one's on gen. Probably on this gen back here. Nope. Yikes. Not a good shot. Lucky they're not messing with anything though. Okay. Jesus. I got some Gin Rush perks. What the fuck? Okay. God damn. First match of the day, and it's a fucking Bully Swift. Gen Junkies. That was awful. But hopefully the next ones are better. I mean, I literally had absolutely nothing going for me. Shitty map. Fucking Swift. Not much I could do. Yesterday I was kicking their asses though. Yesterday was really, really good, and I did really good, and it's like, ugh. Why couldn't that have gone live? Fucking YouTube or PlayStation need to get their shit straight. It's fucked up. I'm excited for the new killer to come out, the Krasu. I'm glad they're going back on all their bullshit, but like I mentioned, like the fact that somebody signed off on that, somebody sat here, seen that bullshit, and thought that was good to send out. That was good to even send to a PTV. And here the devs are like, what's his name? Something Pope. He's sitting here like, oh, I wish they would trust us more when it comes down to PTBs. PTBs are to test things. Like, you deserve trust. Like, does Behavior think they deserve to be trusted? Look how many awful PTB changes went live. Look at the design preview, right? Did they really think we should trust them when they're in their design preview for Skull Merchant rework? They sit there and said Skull Merchant players will not like this. That just shows you don't give a fuck. You don't care what your community says. Why do you think we should trust anything you have to say? Because it's not obvious your best interest isn't into the community or the people who play your game. The PTB changes show that they just want killers to basically be bots. They don't want real killers. They want bots. The fact that they even tried that shit. The fact that they even entertained the idea. Okay, we got Midwich. They can have that upstairs gens, I don't really care. Yeah, see, if the PTB changes went live, he could disable my drone, and I'm not allowed to do anything about it. I just gotta sit there and take it. He has a free pass to do whatever he wants. They're going to unhook him. Somebody got marked, so that's good. She's on the other side of the wall. Oh shit! No! Great. Fuck off, you fag. Annoying. Yep, you're dead. Flashlight ain't gonna help you so good now, is it? Nice. Okay, that was pretty good dead hard actually. Thanks for the fog, I guess. Throw your hook. Nice dead hard. Yeah, not much they could do here. Pretty much got all the gens locked down. He just broke that, I think. She should be over here. I'm being followed. Surely I'm not hearing her through the floor. No, maybe I am hearing her through the floor. Okay, I win. Pretty much. Okay, they disabled that drone, which is like completely useless at this point. Okay, they disabled that one. He's on his first hook. I hear. She going for the unhook? Where do I hear her? I hear her somewhere. She did the unhook. Man, the sound is so weird. Like, I can literally hear her like she's like behind just a wall or something, like she's literally underneath me. I guess it's a little bit of a good thing in some ways, but I just wish it was better tell signs of it. Okay. I'm just going bloodluster. It's not like I'm in any real need of hurry. Oh well, you know, drone down over here. Where is he at? Damn it. Found it. Oh. That's easy enough. Luckily, I had a pretty decent map for Skull Merchant. I hope none of the perk changes. Like, I know they are wanting to go back on a lot of the perk changes since they've released a message today saying that they're going back on some of this stuff. Or, well, they're going back on all the changes they're making, like the bullshit anti-slug, anti-tunnel. And I sit there, I came up with a good idea, right? If they really want something like anti-slug, anti-tunnel, the biggest problem with tunneling, well, the biggest problem is, say, camping and slugging, right, is people get, okay, hold on. The biggest problem with camping and tunneling is early game, right? That's a big complaint, right? Someone gets their first down, it's still 5 gens, get tunneled out, right? I get that. That's annoying. And I get a Survivor, it is annoying to get camped and tunneled. But they don't understand that it's in a crucial part of the way that killers have to play because of how the game is balanced, right? The game's not balanced in killers' favor. It's not. And then the most strongest way to play is to camp and tunnel. There's no real incentive for killers to not. I like how nobody readied up. And something I came up with, which is I think is really nice, is I think they should reinstate old borrowed time, right? That would make, because the biggest thing about camping on a survivor's end is it feels about impossible to get someone off a hook as a survivor, right? You're usually trading a hook, which nobody wants to do, especially in solo queue. You know, because then they're at the mercy of if their teammates are going to save them in return. It's not really beneficial. Somebody's got to die eventually with that. Unless it's a coordinated team, then they can work together and take a hit and you know, but that's not what you get in solo queue. That only helps Swift. That only works with Swift. So I said, you know, if they want some of it, I'm okay with the 30 seconds of endurance, right? But disable it after 2 gens have been done. So when there's still 3 gens left for people to do, it should go back down to 10 seconds. That way it's fair, right? That I would be okay with. Because that's balanced. You know, it keeps people from getting tunneled out and camped out in the early game. As well, it doesn't really... it helps people keep from people getting tunneled out in the early game. That would be nice. Old borrowed time would help people not get completely like camped out. It would help, and it would also make it less viable of a strategy, right? But I think borrowed time, if it made a return, it should return where it's disables in the in-game, right? We got perks like this already in the game. They disable it at in-game, and I think that would be a very fair way to have it. Because, you know, even in old borrowed time days, one thing you would see is that kind of thing happen where at in-game, killer has to camp, and somebody just comes by and undoes it. Okay. Get somebody off the hook, and then both people run out the exit gate, and there's not much you could do. This is not a good map. This map's way too big. I'm not sure how I'm gonna get this. I think I just need to work in my environment a little bit. Just stay back here. Yeah, that was in a pretty bad spot. I didn't expect it to last too long. This is actually a really bad map. God, I hate the fog. I got 2 people here. This might be a Swift. I'm going to have to play really mean on this. I kind of don't have much choice. This map doesn't work in my favor at all. Hey, it's a Swift. I'm pretty sure this is a Swift. They're very coordinated. I think a little too coordinated to be just randos.
Yeah.
He's gonna waste so much of my time here. Fuck. I don't know why she won't get near. I guess she maybe knows. Unless they're all trying to heal up. Wait it out. Fuck me, dude. Rough situation. Map way too goddamn big. Ah, fuck. They're gonna pop a gen any moment now, I fucking swear, and it's... Oh my god, they're working every gen. And there's literally nothing I could do to stop them. Jesus. Gotta fucking have everything. Dead hard now. Yep. What's even crazier is that brain dead survivors will still say that killers are the power role in this game. I literally just went up against a Swift, 4-man Swift. Like, am I able to do anything here? No. Answer is no. Fuck off. Get out of my game. But no, survivors need more hand-holding, don't they? Fucking hell, P100 Sweatfest over here. Boone Shadow Step and Exponential and Circle of Healing. And off the record. The resilience. Made for this? Yep, okay, yeah, that made sense. Fucking bitch was speed running through here. 3% boost all the time, or it's 3%, I believe, right? Yeah, 3%. Top of Shadow Step, making them have no scratch marks. Jesus. Autodidact. Oh my god, dude, this game's so fucked. I was doing so good yesterday, like, now it seems like everybody who's playing the game tonight is just fucking hasn't left their room and their basement in like fucking 10 years. Been in the basement since this game came out. Fucking hell. It doesn't help that I've had like a headache all day. I plan to make a video talking about the Skull Merchant situation because they still talks. People still want the rework to come, right? Which I don't know for the life of me why anybody would want their Skull Merchant rework. I get it, she's not that strong of a killer, but like, yeah, she doesn't need a rework. She just needs a buff. Literally. Take this perk, or not perk, add-on, Prototype Rotor, and make these two, Vital Targeting Processor and Randomized Strobes. Make those 3 add-ons base kit, she's fine. Leave her alone. Nothing else needed. And, maybe add that to it, too. That would just be nice. Because the drones do stay down for a very long time. So make those 4 perks base or add-ons base kit. She's fine. No need to go any further with her. Okay, it's time to get sweaty, I think. I haven't been playing this game a lot lately either. I've been avoiding it, but it's just so Survivor side. It's ridiculous. It's so bad. But such a frustrating game to play. And we got Batum. Okay. Holy shit. That took forever to get to. Sometimes, people get too greedy to not get scanned, I think. And they do stupid stuff like that. To avoid getting the scan line, she literally let me down her. See, if this was the PTB, if they actually decided to go through with that, I would be getting punished very shortly because I just hooked her again. Like, she's on death hook, so if I run into her again and I hook her, I get punished. But look how she played. And look, I'm on disable again, right? Disable is pushing the same gen over and over. So should I, like, ignore that gen and just completely just let her get the gen done? If I down her, she just uses borrow time? Oh wow, they got that gen done. I didn't even realize it. That's regressed. They're over here somewhere because they got that drone down. Oh, they're in the house here. I don't really care about that. She tried to greet it. She almost had it. She might try to rush that gen out. She almost had it done. Well, they took that time to hit at least. I wonder if I should abandon this one back here. I think I am. That one's just kind of out there a little bit, and I got two real close right here. And this one's almost done, so I kind of need to make sure. What the hell did I get caught on? Oh, that's my last pain res. Basements are a little hard to defend with skull merchant like this. Okay, they're over there. Okay, there's two left. I think, even if they pop a gen, I think I should still be fine. I know that other one who's injured is there. Just, you know, she hasn't healed up yet, which means she might not have a way to heal herself. It might be helpful to find her grunts of pain later. Balance landing. She's going to try to make it as hard as possible for me to get her hooked. Okay, now she's not even wiggling. They had an offering of some kind, or she just got really lucky, spawned near it. Yeah, she just got lucky. Spawned near her. Well, that was a good game, at least. About time we had one. Give me a second. I'll be back. I need to use the restroom. But back to my plan on how you could fix Dead by Daylight, right? This is the gist of it, right? Restore old borrowed time. Endurance on both people when someone is unhooked. That makes unhooking, or that makes camping not as viable, except on certain killers. Like, Hillbilly and Leatherface again. And Huntress, and probably Springtrap could fit into that category too. Then Wesker probably also. He could kind of throw people away. But on top of that, give them 30 seconds of endurance when they're unhooked. Right? 30 seconds of endurance, and this effect gets disabled after 2 gens are done. So, when I say borrowed time, I'm not saying base kit. That needs to be the perk. Borrowed time. Then, but they do get the 30 seconds of endurance until 2 gens are done. Once there's 3 gens that they still need to do, it goes down to 10 seconds, because at that point in time, it's no longer beginning of the game anymore. It's your mid-match. You're middle of the game now, and if the killer is not doing too hot, they should still have the opportunity to catch back up. I'm not saying like they can't do it when there's still 30 seconds. There should always be the option for the killer to do this playstyle, but it should be discouraged from doing the playstyle, not punished. That's what they did wrong, majorly wrong. They try to punish the killer, and when they did try to incentivize, they made it was not very good, right? Because most of the killers that really need it, can't benefit from it. So, do that. As far as slugging goes, there's not a slugging, I've never seen a slugging problem, right? The only killer that really has a slugging thing going on is Twins. Some killers do it for pressure, which, yeah, fine. But it's very little you ever see a killer running around trying to slug all 4 people for the win. I've very rarely ever experienced that. And I don't, if the killer slugs someone for pressure, that shouldn't be countered. That doesn't need to be countered. Just go pick the person back up. Yeah, I guess, and plus, even if you do get a forced slug, right? People could just DC at that point for free. There's no punishment for that. So I'm not really sure where this whole we need anti-slug comes in, because I'm not seeing a huge epidemic of it, nor do I really see a problem with it as much, because you could just leave if everybody gets slugged. If not everybody's slugged, there's no reason for you to be complaining. They're just slugging somebody for pressure. Plus, you already got perks for that anyways. Boon Exponential, It lets you do it as many times as you like. Already. Unbreakable. We just got a new perk called Conviction. That's really good. Plot Twist. And instance like that too. Like Plot Twist, Conviction, work together real nice. But we got a lot already perks in the game. I think this is another problem Behavior's been doing. They keep trying to make everything base kit. Give us the perks. Make killers strong enough to deal with strong survivor perks, right? I think killers as a baseline should be strong enough to deal with whatever survivor perks they got, but I also think survivor perks should also be strong too. That's how, and that opens the door for way funner killer powers, right? Like there's some strong killers out and Dead by Daylight, but there's a lot of them that feel super bad to play. Their powers can be good, but they just feel so bad to play because they have to be nerfed down so much to be fair, and that does not feel good to play, right? Wesker isn't a good example. I don't ever play Wesker, but I have played him in the past, right? And my general consists on a character like Wesker. Like, he's not the only one, but he's a good example of this. He can vault a pallet, right? Just like other killers can. Kanaki's a better example of it done better, right? But he can vault a pallet, but then he's got this slow cooldown before he can actually do anything, and then he can finally do it, and he just feels so clunky, right? You don't really feel like you're got a strong power, and I think that's the problem, because he doesn't feel good to play because of that, in my eyes. I think it'd be nice to see stronger killer powers as a baseline, but then survivors also have strong perks to help counter. And I think we got to this point, I think at one point in time we did have stronger killer perks, right? Or killer powers. And perks and everything, right? Problem is over the years, we're like, okay, well, this is too strong, so we're going to nerf it. We're going to nerf this. This killer is a little bit too strong now. Let's nerf this killer. We spent almost a decade nerfing everything, and that bar of what a power just slowly dips down and down and down and down. And so where we used to be way up here as far as how strong things are, now everything is way down lower. So we used to be real high up on where everything was powered at, and now we're just really low. And we kind of capped ourselves at that. I think that's problematic in its own way, too, but that's a separate matter. But the way to fix Dead by Daylight, old Borrow Time. Old Borrow Time returned. 30 seconds endurance. And except when 2 gens are done. Also, borrow time should be disabled after the last gen pops. It should not be used when an in-game, because one problem old borrow time had is people could rush in at the end game, unhook somebody, and then they could be out and you can't do nothing really, because they both got endurance. That part was super frustrating. That's the same thing with why I say the 30 seconds endurance should be disabled or downed back down to 10. But I think it should be downed earlier than end game for that endurance effect, simply for the fact of, if you, by that point in time the game's over anyway. Like, do it after 2 gens done. That way killers aren't incentivized to tunnel you out at 5 gens, and it's open game a little bit more after 2 gens, which sounds pretty fair. Then they can start putting on a little bit more pressure. Slugging, I don't see a problem with slugging. Even if there was a slugging problem, there's enough survivor perks in the game already that completely negate the slugging problem. You hate being slugged so much, run Unbreakable. You hate being slugged so much, run Boon Exponential. There's options. If you really, really hate slugging and you're a masochist, run no mither. You will never have to worry much about slugging again. You'll probably be dead and very quickly because ain't no killer gonna leave you slugged with no mither, and you're one shot at all times, but it's still an option. Which, honestly, no mither, I do think it kind of could use a buff. I mean, it is a pretty pathetic perk. Like, maybe if they gave you, like, a permanent, like, 3% haste on top of it, maybe it would be fine. I mean, I could see that being okay. I mean, it would be very memey, but still, I think it would be weaker. But, you know, at least it would be something where you could see some potential in it. But, and what other topic? Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, very simple stuff can completely fix everything. They don't need to make everything base kit. That's not the way to go. They definitely don't need to punish killers for trying to kill. And as far as... oh yeah, another thing. Another thing they need to do is Jin progress, right? Survivors in this game can get progressed Jins way too fast.
Yeah.
It's super easy for them to rush Jins out, especially with all the Jin perks they got in this game. You really can't do a very good job at defending Jins, right? It's super hard. And all of our Jin perks are complete ass, except for Pain Resonance. Pain Res is like one of the only good perks in the game. Jin perks in the game. Ruin's getting buffed. Supposed to get buffed. I don't know if they're going to still buff it after the changes. But if they make it 150, Ruin's going to be pretty decent. But Jin perks in general are just not very good in this game. So you can't rely on Jin defense to counter the game, like to play the game, right? You can't win the game by relying solely on good Jin defense in most situations. And because of that, the best, most efficient way to play is to camp and tunnel everybody out. Like, granted, that one match I had on the Red Forest, right? Very, very rough. It was a Swift. They were beating down on all the Jins. I had the Jin perks, couldn't help me defend them all. Not even close. They were just progressing them way too quickly. Something I could have done is I could have hooked that one person, because I got a few hooks in the game. When I hooked the first person, I could have camped them and then watched all the rest of them come down for the save, right? Because they're going to have to fight for it. I could potentially, you know, they're going to have to work together in order to get that, which A, gets them all off Jins, and B, it means that if I could potentially get someone camped into second stage, or potentially down somebody else and hook them. Like I could have snowballed, right? I could have snowballed off camping there, which was way stronger than anything I could have done by patrolling generators throughout the match. And that's the problem, right? That's part of the problem. A, it's too hard for survivors to really get a save unless they're really working together. So from their perspective, it's a near uncountable tactic unless you got good coordination. But from a killer's perspective, there's no point in them leaving to tunnel or to patrol generators, because Jins are just so incredibly strong as is, or Jin defense is so weak as is, while hooking and camping somebody is so strong as it is, that there's just no point in doing it. Why would you like do something that's self-hindering to make survivors happy, give them a funner time? And that's that's a major problem. They need to make it more possible for a killer to do gen defense. If you made gen defense better for killer, there would be more incentive to do gen defense over camping a hook. And with, say, overall time return and 30 seconds endurance until like 2 gens are popped, that would mean that, especially in the early game, there would really be no reason to camp early on, or to tunnel somebody out early on. It would just be a way healthier setup. It would encourage killers to gen patrol more. But the game doesn't currently do that. There's no incentive to patrol gens when your perks that work on gens are complete shit, and survivors just can undo any progress that your gen regression perks do in a matter of seconds. Alright, we got 3 flashlights and a med kit. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, okay. All up here. I don't think I want to go down here. I'll break chase for now. Do I got 1, 2, 3? I got 4 gens up here. I got a 4 gen. Okay, well. Really? Okay, well. Looks like I got me a bully squad. Okay, I've seen two of them, so someone is lingering somewhere. Yeah, someone's up here. Four. Alright, wait, fuck it. Quicker. Want to drop down? It's fine by me. Fuck. Oh my god. I'll make sure no one's on my gens. Fucked up. Fuck. Found the hatch. Oh, that was a pretty good game. Or a bully squad, but still got them. Like, people say Skull Merchant's F tier. I just don't. I don't think she is. Like, you see how small of a loop that was, and I still was able to catch off that the Renato. He could not make it back around before I caught back up to him because of the hindered effect given by my drone. Plus the free injuries by people getting claw trapped. I don't know. She's not F tier. People say she's the weakest in the game, and I just don't see it. I think she's very tough to play in a way, but properly at least. Because you gotta have a lot of like, okay, is this person about to walk into my scan line? Oh, let me control my scan lines to keep hovering it over them so they get claw trapped faster. You know, she's a very advanced killer. She's not F tier. She's just complicated. I think, and she's also really fun too, honestly. Like, we get so many dash killers in the game. She's got a really unique and fun killer to play. Yeah. Like I said, like I mentioned, she's not F tier. I think she is D tier. But I do think she could use a little bit of buffing. Like that's fine being an add-on. So give this and this to make her hindered better. Give this to make her rotation faster. And that to decrease the disabled state, because it is extremely long for very little reason. Maybe if it was, she could scan people like when they're on a generator or something, that would be, you know, it would justify the length of time that her drones stay down, but it just, for how nitpicky her drones are about scanning people, 15 seconds is just not, or like the duration is just not justified. So that would definitely be a lot of help. I mean, even then, it's still a good bit of time, but it's still bearable enough. But yeah, just four perks. Even just 3 of these. Like, even if you don't want to give her this one, the rotation speed, just these 2 and that, and she's fine. You know, I think everybody will be comfortable in saying she's C tier at least at that point. Or, well, at least D tier. I would say she would be C tier at that point. If she had all 4 of them, C tier, I think. Just the 3 of them, I still think she could be C tier, but I see a lot of people saying she's D. I don't think she needs a lot to make her, you know, good. But she's a lot of fun. She's a good killer. I'm probably going to play one more match and then I'm going to call it. Yeah. I mean, if she's so incredibly bad, like people make her out to be, how am I still getting like a 65% to 67% like kill rate with her? Like, that's not crazy high per se, but like, there's some people who get that same score on other characters, right? So like, there's people who main, you know, characters like Wesker or fucking Powmaster who get that and stay consistently at that. Like, that's, you know, there's also players better than me too, you know. I'd like to think I'm a really good Skull Merchant player per se, but I still know there's other people out there better than me. I just in general, like, I do think that I'm more knowledgeable about how to play Skull Merchant properly than a lot of people though too. Like, I've still seen like people with a lot of hours in this game still make a lot of mistakes on Skull Merchant, but that's because I'm a Skull Merchant main, you know? If you main a killer, you tend to know the little things to help you do better with that killer. I honestly hope the rework never comes for her. I just want her to be buffed. That's all I want. Make a few of her add-on space kit, and I think she'll be fine enough. Because the way her power is right now, I like her power. I don't think it needs changed. My totem is in a horrendous spot. That's not going to last very long. Look at this gen. Alright, from here I'll probably have to fight the shack. So we got a boon. Yep, I knew that wasn't going to last very long. And that is how you do it. Fuck. Where's all the damn totems? Or not totems. Okay, well I have like no hooks. They're gonna pop a gen here soon, probably. I don't see my way able to defend it for too much longer. Got a first scan on her though, so that's fine. I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm not sure if I've pain rest her yet or not. I have not. Great. That's one of the only gens I didn't want to lose, but these three here are the three I wanted to mostly keep. I could still be in worse positions right now, though. God, leave the fucking gen alone. Okay. See, this is what I mean when I say gen perks are not good. What can I do here, you know what I mean? As soon as I step away from it, they're immediately back on it. And they just pre-run. Like, there's nothing you could do. And because there's a damn stupid kick limit, they could just keep abusing it. There's nothing I can do. I'm gonna lose this last gen. I could have used the pain res maybe, but I don't know who has it. It might have been the Nia. Okay. She's dead. I can get back over here and deal with this one. I might just manage to get something kind of steamrolling here. Except, where is she? Okay, I found her. Nice. Looks like I'm gonna clutch a 3K out of this. See, like, this is an example. Like, this game was a complete loss, right? I was looking at a 1K, or possibly a 4K had. Okay, if the PTB changes went live, right? Which gladly they're canceled now. But had they have gone live, oh shit, this is still 2K. She had Unbreakable or something. She was saving it. Or Exponential, maybe. There was a boon. Yeah, it was Exponential. Great. Yeah, that's what she did. Should have figured that out. But if the PTB changes went live, right? I would have gotten a 1K there, and I would not even have had to even gotten close to the 3K. I would have been completely lost. There would have been literally nothing I could have done. So you gotta think the fact the PTB changes weren't live to that. And if I would have figured they had Exponential, yeah, I could have won that. I almost got a 3K there. That was good, though. It's a close game. It's a die, though. Especially on the swamp. What happened is I lost my best regen. I didn't push it enough and ended up just slacking a little bit. Trying to hold a, 4 or 5 gen. Ended up losing them. Once they started pushing so hard, I should have narrowed my scopes down to 3. But, you know, it's hard to do that when they're doing what they were doing. Pre-running, I couldn't ever get even close to them. Because if I try to get close to one, then they're just going to finish the gen. Like, there's in a situation like this is why I was saying gen regression for killer is just awful. Look how much pressure I built when I started camping and tunneling, right? That amount of pressure, had I carried that same pressure from 5 gens, I probably had a very strong chance of winning. A very strong chance of getting a 3 to 4K. But because I focused my efforts on generators instead of people as my main defense, I ended up struggling to hold all the gens, right? And that was the whole point, right? Because back in the day, gen perks were good, and when they were good and viable, the 3-gen era existed. They murdered them, and obviously they put the gen kick limit, which, as you've seen from that match, got very heavily abused, because then they just would come by, touch the gen enough to get it to stop regressing, then I would have to kick it again, because it's so close to done. So they just abuse the system. Anything you add to the game, they're going to abuse the system. That's just how survivors are, right? They're going to do that. So I guess it's not abusing the system. That's exactly how the system was. I mean, the system was built to prevent 40-minute matches, but, you know, it might not have been built so someone could just tap a gen just enough so you have to kick it again, and that's kind of like pushing the abuse of the system. And in situations like that is, like, they added something for a good reason and it's abused. And that's just how this game is. So if they make the perks good, like, they nuked Killer and the update because they wanted those updates. Because they wanted Skull Merchant, the Chess Merchant era, right? 40-minute matches, holding the 3-gen. That was all due to the gen perks regressing really good and being good. Plus, on top of that, there was no gen kick limit, and Skull Merchant was just really good, and her power was good enough to do that. So they nerfed her, they nerfed the perks, put a gen kick limit. They did all these things. But do we really need all these things? Is this too far? And I think yes. Why would someone defend a generator when they could defend the hook? Because these gen perks are just ass. They're ass because they were afraid people didn't want the 3-gen era existing anymore. And because of that, why would you push gens? Like, I could have probably had a much easier game if I have a build, instead of making a build around defending gen defense and 3-genning, if I had a build based around camping a hook, or helping me in chase, right? So I can camp hooks better, I'd probably be a much stronger killer. And that's the thing, like, I don't want to just be solely camp hook killer. I don't do that. I mean, I will camp, and I will tunnel, and I will... No, I really don't slug, like, hardly at all. I do sometimes, though. Like, in that latest match, you know, I left the person on the ground because I seen somebody else. In a situation where I can see somebody else right there, I will slug, right? I'm not... Or if I know there's going to try to go for a save or something like that, then I'll slug. I don't tend to slug very often, though. If I see somebody while there's a person on the ground, yeah, I'll chase the person I see. Or at least chase them away a little bit. But I'm not no hard slugger or something. I usually will camp in tunnels sometimes. That's something I'll do, especially at in-game. Or if I know somebody's about to go to second stage, I'll tend to go back and make sure they don't get saved or make it harder to be saved. Unless it's bully squads. Bully squads, I am perfectly okay. Like Swifts, because at that point, like, you know they're going to go for the save, right? They're Swift. They're going to save their buddy. So I kind of play off that. But sometimes these tactics are good and needed, and sometimes different killers prioritize this more than others, right? Well, like I said, why do gen defense when camping a hook is way stronger? Survivors really don't have much in order to counter you camping a hook. They can very easily counter you from gen defense, as we've seen. Just abuse the gen kick limit, and the killer also has to defend 3 things, while if they're defending a hook survivor, they only have to defend 1 thing there. It's much easier to just hang in the area than to run to 3 different generators across the map. And that's just kind of the thing with killer. Like, it's unless you're like Ghoul or something who has high map mobility and can just kind of do everything. Like killers with high map mobility, Blight, Nurse, Ghoul, all these killers, right? They have high map mobility. Wesker, Hillbilly, they can kind of rush to 1 gen and then rush back to the hook, and they can kind of defend everything pretty fast. Regular killers, like who walk and stuff, they don't really have that map mobility to quickly get back and forth, per se. Like Skull Merchant, for example. She doesn't have the map mobility to quickly get back to the hook and back to all 3 gens before people touch them. That's why dash killers are so popular. And so in the process, like, if they made gen perks, like, they already got the gen kick limit. Why are gen perks still so incredibly weak? What is behavior afraid of, right? The kills are going to become OP because, like, at this point, right, our gen perks are so bad, there's no point to defend the hook, or defend gens over a hook. So if behavior wants to make meaningful changes in this department, then make it worth defending generators. Now, a question. What is the killer's main objectives? What is the main objective besides, like, okay, there's 2 objectives the killers have mostly, right? Defend generators and kill survivors. In the old days of DBD, generators was killer's the main objective, right? In a way, right? It was the one that was pushed the most. Defend the objective. The generators. But the game has devolved more like, from that. And now it's more of defend the hook survivor. Because there's no real... The objective of defending a generator is just not good. It's really bad. It's not really worth it. So, gen perks definitely need a buff. I think if gen perks were viable, and gen defense was actually viable in this game, you would see a lot less camping and tunneling. But, you know what, an example of what DBD has basically become is Identity V. Identity V is a game the killer cannot degress the progress. They can't regress the progress of the ciphers, right? In Identity V. So the most common way that killers play in that game is they put somebody in the chair instead of a hook. It's just like a chair. They put them in the chair and they camp it. Because the most effective way to play in that game, since you can't do anything about the ciphers, is to camp and tunnel. Get them out. That is why that's a big difference in Identity V versus Dead by Daylight. The changes they were proposing in the PTB was going to force like it to not be like Identity V, but in the process, it's just what do killers have? Shitty gen defense.
Yeah.
That's it. Like what do they got to work with? You know. But that's what makes DVD a bit different, because this game, you had a way to deal with generators. They're just not good enough to warrant not tunneling and camping. They're so pathetically weak, and gen defense is so pathetic in this game. It's almost like Identity V. Because it's just defending the gens is just not worth it over defending a hook. That is why a lot of people camp. That is why it's become so prominent in this game. It's not a good thing. It is bad. It's not fun to go against as a survivor. You know, and some killers don't enjoy having to do that either. Some do, probably, yeah. I mean, that's why it's existed since the beginning of this game. But some don't either. And it's just kind of like, make it good to play the game like it's meant to be played. Make it viable. Make it a viable option. You know, because in higher MMR brackets, when you're dealing with Swifts or really skilled players, even if they're solo queue, even if they're just really skilled players, you're not going to win as a killer. Because behavior, this is how behavior basically balances the game. Survivors, they balance them where they're allowed to make mistakes. Survivors are balanced around, oh, you can make a mistake and not be game over for you. Killer, on the other hand, is balanced around how good, how strong can you be as a killer. So, for example, when they're looking at like a killer, they look at like, oh, is a top tier Legion overpowered? Is he too strong? And they balance it from there. But when they look at a survivor, they don't look at it as, oh, is this too strong? Is this perk too strong on a Swift? Oh, is the game too hard for survivors to loop a killer? And they don't look at it like that. They look at it as, oh, we want you to have a chance to escape. So we're going to do everything in our power to make it easier for you to escape. You know, even if you make a mistake along the way. Killers aren't afforded that liberty. That's why in high MMR, survivors are allowed to make mistakes, and killers have to play perfect. Killers make a single mistake, and it could cost them the entire match in high MMR. It's very, very punishing on the killer side, and not very punishing on survivors. It's unbalanced. So it would definitely be nice to see behavior instead of trying to punish or force different alternatives to counter slugging and camping and all that. They need to look at why it exists. Look at the shape of the game Like, why do killers have to camp and tunnel to win at high MMR? Are the killers just that weak? Are the perks just that weak? And is the playstyle of patrolling Djinns just that weak? And they need to take and then they need to look at the strength too. How strong is camping and tunneling in Dead by Daylight compared to Djinn defense? And I guarantee they'll find that camping and tunneling is just way, way stronger than any Djinn defense in this game. You could take the strongest killer in this game for Djinn defense, and you could put them on a Djinn defense setup, and they will probably have a rougher time with that strategy than, say, camping a person on a hook and tunneling that person out. Because once you get one person out, the game just gets so much easier. Because, you know, once you get in chase, there's only 2 people messing with generators instead of 3.
Yeah.
The pressure you get on the survivors once you get someone out is just immense. And the pressure the survivors can put on you as a killer when there's 4 of them is just immense. And if you don't camp and tunnel, you're not getting very much pressure throughout the match. You could get some, but not as much as what they can put on you. As we seen with that match, they kept touching the Djinn. As soon as I got near a Djinn, they were already pre-running me. I would kick the Djinn. As soon as I turned my back, they were already running up to touch the Djinn again. The Djinns barely regressed anything. And they were already countering it. So, as a killer, you don't get much, like, you're not building as much pressure as they're building on you. Because now that they've touched that and stopped this regression, you gotta kick it again if it's almost done. Or you pursue the chase, in which case the other 3 survivors are finishing another generator somewhere, or even hopping in a Djinn that you were just kicked. They can pressure you a lot harder than you can pressure them. And if I would have had somebody dead earlier on, if I stayed at the killer shack, right? If I stayed at that killer shack, and when a person went to save, I could have downed that other person or prevented them from saving. I could have got someone out, and then I could have held the pressure a little bit better. Because then I would have only had to hold pressure against 3 people instead of 4. I played fairly fair that game, right? I did slug at the end, and I did camp a tad, but nothing crazy. I played a little unfairly, I guess, according to the survival rulebook. I played a little bit on the pushier side, but I wasn't overly crazy about it. And yet, look how close the game came down to the wire. It would have been complete loss had I not started doing stuff. And that's just kind of how that is an example of the balancing of this game. People wonder why camping and slugging and tunneling are so strong. That is the example. The strength I showed after I did that, I built a lot of pressure. I forced the survivor's hand. While on the opposite end of the spectrum, they were forcing my hand through most of that match. With the overly committing to the Djinns, pushing them. They broke my throat. Like, I had quite a bit of Djinn there. I had like a 4 or 5 Djinn. And they broke it with that tactic. So they did really, really good. Like, that's probably not solo queue. That's probably Swift there. I'm pretty sure they were probably Swift. But that's just the thing, right?
Yeah.
Solo queue is different than Swift, but if it's just yeah. I'm just kind of rambling, I guess, at this point. But that's just probably where I'll end it now. I've discussed how they could fix the game, and in a fun and fair way, right? The ways I've discussed where they could fix the game was discussed in a very fair and fun way. Like, adding old borrowed time back makes survivors feel funner because they feel like they could, kind of stick it to the killer a little, which feels fun. But at the same point in time, killer should feel powerful and strong too. So killer feeling better would also be nice. Less clunky, less forced. So good Jin perks to help Jin defense. That's funner than having to camp somebody, in my eyes. If you kick a Jin, you see a big progress bar of it go down. That feels a lot better than having to sit there and watch somebody on a hook. And another thing too is MMR. That was something they should have never added to this game. Like, skill-based matchmaking is not good. And I think that's a lot of the reason why they balance the way they do. They balance survivors with intentions of survivors making mistakes, right? They don't expect survivors to play perfect, but they expect killers to play perfect. But when survivors play perfect, because they're all matched in a high rank and know how to play the game, it kind of makes it like you're fighting an immovable object, right? You're trying to push an immovable object. They're just stronger than you at that point because they're balanced around making mistakes instead of balanced around playing perfect. So when they play perfect, you're left short-handed. Well, this is the end here. Goodbye, and I guess we'll have to see what behavior does. I hope they get rid of the person who came up with that whole PTB fiasco. Like, if that's the person they got in charge of trying to balance the game, yeah, no, he needs to go. He does not know what he's doing. But goodbye.